So it took a few days, but I finally got around to summarizing the Devblog from last week. Hi everybody, my name is Onepeg MG, and this is yet another special edition of the news where we go through the most recent Tarkov TV Devblog. Now this time it was in English, which is good, and I've broken this out into some categorical stuff. Actually, as it turns out, the format for how I was going to break this down was already done for me by one of the BSG crew members named The Way. So, if it's okay with you guys, we'll just kind of go through that and highlight a couple of the key items. So starting off, we have what's going to happen in 11.5. The focus is on fixing long-term issues like freezes and stutters. Now, we know that Nikita went through an awful lot of information with this and said that they were able to identify certain issues with the freezing and stuttering problems and said that they were able to fix a lot of them, or should be able to fix a lot of them, which is kind of nice because that's the probably main issue that most people complain about. There will be no wipe in 11.5. Recoil will be adjusted, where guns will then have higher recoil, which is something, again, people have been asking for. They have no ETA on 11.5, maybe in a couple of weeks or more. On to 11.7, we have new weapons, new additional features, and fixes, of course. After the release of the 11.5 patch, it will take a few weeks to bring the 11.7 patch online. Access to Terra Group Labs will be restricted after the release of 11.7. So they went into a lot of conversation about this, where there was the mention of the keycard system and how that's going to work. Basically, keycards will be found on scavs, scav bosses, and there would be, 1, 2, 3, whatever scattered about the actual lab's location itself for people to be able to find to then be able to get in. It will be interesting to see how this whole thing kind of works out. I personally am looking very forward to this because I think labs should be a bit more of a restrictive location given how lucrative it can be if you can survive. They also did go into saying that after you access the map, the keycard will disappear, and you will only need, for the time being, one keycard for a group of people to be able to enter. So that's, again, kind of nice. On to 12.x. So in the case of 12.x, they said that the Hideout will be implemented. There will be a new location, known as the military base, which we knew was coming. A new scav boss, or scav bosses, possibly 2. Which we know we have the Woods boss that's coming, as well as possibly a new boss on the military base. New weapons, new stuff, character customization being added where you can, facial features, hair types, that kind of thing. Weapon builds management, so that is kind of like a quick build system. And it will be possible to sell weapon builds to other PMCs via a special trader. So again, pretty interesting. So in addition to this, we also had this kind of teaser of the different features, functionalities, that kind of thing of what the Hideout is supposed to look like. And I'm kind of looking forward to how this whole thing ends up playing out myself. Then we went on to discussing different details about that of the military base. And in the case of the military base, they were talking about how this map will have stationary guns and launchers. You'll be able to find a boss in the new location, a new feature on the map, meaning that there's going to be random mortar fire, a scav raiders. They said that there was going to be new features on this map, like random mortar strikes, scav raiders who try to hunt you down, and other dynamic events, which is very, very cool. This drawing, according to Nikita, is also only part of the map, not nearly the entire thing, which is good because this doesn't look like there would be all that much ground to cover. So again, adding more dynamism to the game is something that I think we have all been wanting, and the fact that there's going to be like these random mortar strikes in certain areas seems incredibly, incredibly cool. Now on to some general, rather important parts, according to the devs, of what to take away from the stream. So freezes and stutters, according to Nikita, have an awful high priority at BSG. They made the Kappa quest available, which we know. Ideas for a prestige system. You might be able to get special items or cosmetic items. BSG changed a lot from their old plans, and that's the reason why the whole project needed more time. Nikita had said that they went back and kind of started rebuilding certain things that they thought were kind of done. They're going to be adding a report system to report suspicious players, potentially using third-party hacks and that kind of thing. An idea for an after-raid report that might include a video that you would be able to cut, but again, it's got to be implemented. Customizable rigs and armor being something that we know is coming. VoIP being directly connected to your character's position. So if you use VoIP, other players will be able to locate you, meaning just like other proximity VoIP systems. New sound system that they're working on is still in progress. Sound can be ricocheted from objects, meaning, you know, echolocation and that kind of stuff. They're going to add usability of the multi-tool, but that's got to be something that's coming in time. You'll be able to lock things with the multi-tool. Offline PvE co-op mode is going to be coming. Unity 2018 engine upgrade will be tested on player test servers, which again is something that they said that they would be adding at some point. There will not be any Battle Royale in EFT, which we knew. Special AP 9x19 ammo is going to be added, along with a drum mag for the MPX, which was kind of huge news. It will be possible to create your own hideout. It will be possible to play music or watch videos in your hideout. Invite friends to your hideout is something that they're discussing. The Terra Group Labs map will be located off of Streets of Tarkov. So this was actually a really interesting thing. They said that in order to be able to access the labs location, you will have to go into a Streets of Tarkov raid, then access the lab from the Streets of Tarkov, kind of like going into a raid from another raid. And then in order to be able to get back out or to escape from there with all of the stuff that you have collected, you not only have to escape from the labs, but you also then have to work your way back through Streets of Tarkov in order to be able to get back to your hideout, which seems awesome. I'm not really sure exactly what they're talking about here, but you'll be able to extract your loot in special places without leaving the raid, so there'll be kind of like drop locations. Special items like rare keys and labs are no longer going to be in one place, and this feature will be implemented on all maps. Cultists, again, we knew this before, but cultists only being active at night, having special melee weapons, and being kind of sneaky little cultist ninjas. Radioactivity will be in the game at some point. Radioactive items must be held inside of a special container, which they showed, and to pass these areas, you'll need special gear. The Kibba store is going to have an alarm system added. We knew about that. If the alarm goes on, scavs and scav bosses will run to this location, and the alarm could trigger the spawning of a scav boss. So, from there, we had weapon systems that got announced. So in this case, we have the FNP90, and in one of the funnier moments, Nikita referred to the P90. What he meant to say was it looked like a rooster, but he used the word cock, which I thought was very, very, very funny. And a lot of people thought that that was interesting, and he was like, no, not that. But anyway, now here's something that was interesting. When they showed the last screenshots of this, I was like, oh, is this like some kind of underbarrel grenade launcher? It ended up being a KN203 4-gauge shotgun, which, you know, devastatingly hurtful at close range, I would imagine. It will be interesting to see how this gun ends up adding to the meta. Obviously, we now have the SVD, and they also had additional information on the 308 Vepr, as well as an MDR, which I believe I have some video of. One of the more interesting things from this devblog was actually that they had included some weapon mods for things like the Taz, which I thought was very interesting, as well as some absolutely awesome-looking MPX mods. So we have this as a PP19, obviously, looks really nice, and I like how they've added some of these Taz mods just to up the meme factor. And here, obviously, we see the Taz with the Vulcan. We have extended mags for the SKS that are coming, which is very, very nice and something that was very, very much needed. A silencer for the SV98. And here we have all of the MPX mods. So now we have a pistolized MPX, which looks awesome. MPX drum mags. In this case, it looks like now we have an extended handguard, which is very, very cool. And we have an extended handguard now with an extended barrel, which looks absolutely amazing. And the extended barrel, extended handguard, and adding the Osprey to the front of it, which looks so, so cool. And here we have the Desert Tech MDR, which comes in 5.56, which means it should be able to take all of the drum mags and extended mags that we have for the M4 and HK416. It's a bullpup just like the P90, which means it's probably going to kick a little bit harder than any of the other guns that we've seen. But from the video and what it is that they've generated so far, it looks amazing and it sounds absolutely awesome. Next, we have the SVD, which we know is being added, and this goes through a lot of the different modification options that you have for the SVD. Now that this has been added, this is going to be the first semi-automatic sniper rifle that is in Tarkov, so this could potentially be quite meta-changing. It will be interesting to see how this gun is utilized inside of the game. And then lastly, we have the 308 VPO. In addition to this, there were some other stills that were added for work-in-progress items that we'll go through really quickly. So this was joked about that they were going to be adding Vin Diesel to the game. Just another set of sunglasses, looks like a pair of Oakleys or something along those lines. This was shown where there's going to be some kind of maybe armor. I'm not exactly sure what is going to be, I guess, elaborated on with this, but it was kind of something that they said was more like stab proof than it was ballistics. Additional vests and rigs. And then we have plate locations for the TT plate carrier SK that's going to be added. Now Nikita said that this was a drum mag, another drum mag that's being added for the AK. Carbon fiber handguards, telescoping and foldable MPX stocks. New charge handle, the P226 extended mag, so this is going to be a 20 rounder. So this is actually going to be a remote controlled rolling camera that will be used to help pinpoint the locations or use sonar, some type of sonar system in order to be able to locate where other PMCs are. This helmet is the strongest helmet currently available in the real world, according to Nikita, which will also be added at some point. And this helmet here, same thing, is going to be added along with this face shield, which looks absolutely amazing. Now this is a portable solar generator, and it has something to do with the hideout where you need it in order to be able to power the hideout, but he did not elaborate in terms of what exactly that had to pertain to. He said that this was a plate or a piece of some type of transponder that you would have to assemble in order to be able to utilize something in the hideout. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to end up turning out at some point, but we will see. And then again, the Fab Defense SKS chassis being added, which looks very, very cool. Another belt rig. Now this is kind of like the most basic of belt rigs, where you can see it carries like a couple of mags and, you know, maybe some meds or food or something along those lines. Another foldable stock. This is a transport device for radioactive material, which looks very, very, very cool. And then they showed this partial picture, which ended up being a piece of a photo that was then teased on Twitter for Jaeger, who is the new trader for the game. So that's everything that we have for the most part. There were a couple of other memes in here, like Nikita going off about the thickness and some other things, but I thought that it, you know, didn't really need to be in here for the purpose of this. We like to save the shenanigans for the stream, you know what I mean? So that's what I have for today, guys. Thank you so much for, again, taking the time to check this out. I will see you on stream later on today, and I will see you here tomorrow. Okay? Thanks so much. Peace.